let's do it. Yeah, your TV.
Your TV, this is Lumber King Nation here.
Greetings, hockey fans. Welcome to CCHL here tonight. I'm Kyle Robinson with your TV in the Ottawa Valley. Very special guest here today, none other than the captain of the Pembroke Lumber Kings, Mr. Fortier. Welcome to the program. Congrats on being named captain this year, the longest serving captain actually in this year's roster. So kind of tell us what that feels like, from a pressure point of view, but also for, maybe what it's like kind of carrying that weight in the locker room.
It's different. It feels weird to be the longest serving player on the team, especially because it just feels like, yesterday that I was a rookie. But it feels right. I love it. It's feels good to lead the guys through, and I like the fact that we have a really young team here. So it's they're really impressionable. So it's nice to show them things on the ice, and they listen. And they listen really well, so that's nice.
We'll get into the aspect of the team in a minute, but first I want to ask you what it's like not really having your twin brother here with you this year. We've kind of talked like this before, where we had both of you on before, when you were rookies, what it's like coming into the league, growing up together, all those things, but this is really your first year where you don't have your brother on the same team with you, let alone being a D partner. Has that played at all with you this year?
Honestly, not as much as I thought. This is my first time and my twins' first time ever being apart. We've always, same school, done the same things in the summer. So it's nice to have that anonymity, honestly, and to kind of, go out there and do something by yourself. But I still call him every day, text all the time. So it's like, we're still with each other, but just not physically with each other. So it is a bit of a change, but it hasn't really affected me as much as I thought it would.
So with being the captain this year, and we talked about it being a young roster, a lot of rookies this year, what is your message to them night in and night out, during practices, during warm-ups, during games, intermissions, all the things?
Trust the process. I mean, the fact that we have a super young team means that the start of the season will probably be a bit rocky, but if you trust the process, work hard, keep doing the little things correct, by Christmas, by January, by February, we're going to be a much stronger team than we are now, which is going to lead to a lot more success in the playoffs, which is ultimately what this is all about.
So for a season goal then, for such a young team, we talked about trusting the process. After Christmas, things kind of take a turn to the page here. I mean, the goal every year is to make the playoffs. Is it this year to maybe make it past the first round, maybe be a contender a little bit? What is your view?
I'd say the goal is always to win. I'm never going to go into a season thinking that I don't have a chance. I want to win, and I want to make sure that the guys in the room know that if you're not coming into a season thinking you're going to win, you're going in to fail. So coming in, always believing that you can win is super important, and especially to teach these young kids to really believe like we got to win. It's going to be an important step to having a good season.
Have you really kind of driven home that point of view as a captain, the history of this franchise and the CCHL, what it means to put on that crown every night?
For sure, yeah. In our room, we have a list of all the years we won championships on, and it just fills up a wall just in our room. So it's important for all our guys to take a moment and, look up at that and just think like, look, it's got to be this year too. We got to add another number to that list. So I think I have been kind of driving home the point, like, look, it's a special place. Putting on the crown means something to a lot of people. So, going out there and working as hard as you can every day, it's going to be super important to our team's success.
With it being 10 games plus now into the regular season, you see a lot of teams, not here just in the CCHL, but across North America, really making changes to the roster, the way they kind of identify themselves. What has been, I guess, some of the more learning opportunities for this team and, some of the trials and tribulations, I guess you could say?
I'd say the biggest learning opportunity we've had for this team, because we're such a young team, is we played Rockland and it was 3-3 going into the third, and then in 3 minutes it's 6-3, right? 3 mistakes led to 3 goals. So I think them learning that, you can't afford to take any time off during a game because that's going to cost you, especially against good teams. That's really going to cost you. So that, I think, was a huge lesson for our kids to learn. I'm happy that, our team learned it early and not, in a month or two. So just learning that, you can't take a time off. You can't take a night off. I think that's super important.
A couple more questions for you before we kind of can keep rolling there a little bit. What are, I guess, some of the main things when you're on the bench and, you're in tight games like you were talking about in Rockland, 3-3 after 40 minutes, when you really talk to the younger guys on the bench about, maybe finding a second gear or anything like that, what is one thing you really kind of drive home a little bit?
Positivity, being optimistic, honestly, just belief, really believing that, look, this game's not out of hand. I don't care if we're down by 4 and there's 20 minutes left. You can score a goal every 5 minutes. Like that stuff happens. I think it's really important for the guys to believe that, and the belief does come from being positive on the bench and being optimistic and not sitting down, slouching down, and being defeated. I think it does come from being loud, cheering on your teammates, kind of creating the momentum yourself.
There's a shot, he scores! Alex Fortier, nice looking passing play with Will Ryan, and lots of local content in that one. Let me tell you, the Lumber Kings have tied it up. They needed it.
Yeah, what did we talk about earlier in the first period that the Kings excelled at so much? It was the odd man rushes, and they just haven't had them in this period. And finally, they're able to break free on a great play to make it a 3-on-1. Really, with that trailer is what makes it so hard to stop. You don't know what guy is going to get the puck, and the right man did as Fortier is able to bury that one.
Well, Will Ryan with a nice give and go. He gets it back there and then dishes to the right man, as you say, and Fortier makes a heck of a shot to give his team a tie game here, and that was huge because the Kings surrendered the momentum, and a nice low shot right off the post. Wow, what a zinger by Alex Fortier.
One last question for you before I let you go. You personally, what is one thing you want to take away from this season with the Lumber Kings?
A win, honestly, it's a win. That's all I think about is, winning. I think anything less than, going deep in the playoffs and winning the whole league this year is a fail. And I think that's the same thing to a lot of people, honestly, but I think, such a young team, you got to kind of drill that into them because you can tell them and they can say they get it, but deep down, maybe they don't actually get it. So I think it's going to be super important for us as a team to stick together and believe.
Alex Fortier, the captain of the Pembroke Lumber Kings for the 2025-2026 season. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kyle.